All right, I think we can go get started, Heidi, if you're ready.
Yes, because there's a 2 o'clock
Yes.
meeting right after ours.
Knock, knock, we're ready. That was like a gavel when I said.
Oh, okay.
And those are extra agendas on the table. I don't have a gavel.
We have a couple of interns here
Yes.
today with some of our steady ender folks, so welcome,
Yes,
welcome.
yes.
We haven't met since November because we do not meet during the craziness of December.
Right about that.
So we're going to run down our agenda as we typically do, and if we don't have the information, we'll just pass and keep going. So we're going to start with Dolores. Do you have any information from the New Bedford Opioid Task Force?
Okay, so, so this will be from December and January. I don't think I have anything from November. So in December, what usually happens is that the New Bedford Police Department has a representative that comes up and talks about the data. What they decided to do moving forward is that she sends out emails to the different harm reduction teams. So there was no data to report in December and January. What she said was that she's been sending out emails daily to the harm reduction teams with real-time data on hotspots. So I don't know how we can get that information. Maybe I need to have a conversation, even though she doesn't give the data out at the meetings, if there's a way that we can get the data to kind of find out where the hotspots are and things like that. So they stopped doing it at the meetings. Let's see what else they were saying at the meetings. Give me 1 second, I got 2 things. There's some things that are gonna be happening. Star Kids was at the meeting and they wanted to let people know that the application process is open. So what they do is that they provide like scholarships to children that have a parent who has a substance use disorder or may have been incarcerated due to a substance use disorder, for them to attend a school, whether it be like Stang or Tabor or whatnot, and they'll pay for that. And once a child is approved under the STAR program, they're approved until they graduate. So they can choose to go to a school outside of their district. May 17th, I think Carl Alves wanted us to put it on the calendar. Spring into Recovery, they did one last year in the fall. They're gonna do it again this year. May 17th, it's gonna be at Fort Tabor from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. But more information is to come. They just wanted people to know about that. And let's see, substance issues, substance treatment, one-on-one, Wednesdays, Zoom. Okay, I think that was it. I'm just looking at my notes for December. Carl Alves mentioned in the December meeting, because he's on the harm reduction subcommittee for the Greater New Bedford Task Force, is that he is going to try to see about getting some funds, whether it be through the opioid settlement funds or through community partners, to try to have some type of regional forum, which includes not just New Bedford, but just regional areas, maybe in September, to talk about the opioid pandemic and maybe have some guest speakers. So he said more to come on that, but he's looking to try to do that.
A few years ago, it was pretty good.
Yeah, so he's hoping to get some money to do that this year. And that was it.
Thank you very much. I'm going to move over. We do have a representative from the police department. The chief has sent over Detective Christina Brum, and she's going to go over the Dartmouth data that we have.
Oh, okay.
All right, so for month ending of December of 2024, we had 2 non-fatal events and 0 fatal events. I also printed out just the year-end data for all of last year's recap. The numbers actually were pretty good, just from what I've noticed over the last couple years. We only had 2 fatals and a total of 17 non-fatals, which is extremely low.
And that's for the whole year, Christina?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That's great.
Numbers are definitely down, which is a good thing. So
20.
the harm reduction stuff seems to be working well.
Okay.
I'm also going to segue, right now we have Christina's attention. as part of the distribution of opioid funding, we had let the police department know that we were supporting their post-overdose prevention. We had earmarked $7,000, and Christina was telling me that they have started that work, so I'm gonna have Christina tell everybody now.
Oh, good.
Yep, so we started back up again. I actually went out, along with Lisa, who also does the post-overdose, through the department. We went out on Friday. We conducted one follow-up from a resident. We had positive experience. Person was already engaging in services, but we provided our information and any other resources that the family might need, to move forward. So we had another good outreach. Going forward, we have a plan in place with Seven Hills. As you guys know, we got funding for housing for the homeless shelters at 2 of our motels.
Yeah.
So we're planning on Thursdays, hitting up the motels, and distributing Narcan and some other supplies through Seven Hills to, hopefully mitigate any potential, overdoses.
Thank you.
When
Great.
you meet with when you go out to the establishments and you're with Seven Hills.
Yep.
If you could ask the rep from Seven Hills if they would like more of a presence at the hotels, I'd be happy to approach them. I've done that in the past and we've been able to secure a room for them.
Yeah, we, welcome anybody that wants to join us. We're planning on Thursdays for starting at like 4:15.
Yeah, I was gonna ask what time, okay.
Yeah, like right after.
Well, after they get there, because I know, okay, all right.
Yep. So we're planning around like the 4:15 hour. We're gonna meet at the station and
And then
head out to the motels.
Okay.
Pending any circumstance that arises on my end that,
will it be the two or will you alternate week to week?
because we're going to the motels, we're gonna try to, roll it where both Lisa and I conduct these,
At both of them.
Okay.
outreaches along with at least one person from Seven Hills. I'm not too sure how many
Okay.
people they're sending, but at least one
Okay.
representative's coming out.
So UMass Dartmouth just got on, I just wanted to let people know, that's
Oh,
Victoria.
great. Thank you, Christina. Thank you for coming today.
No problem.
Matt Danzero.
So I'm gonna give you, 2024 stats. We had 599 people access, services through me at the Council on Aging last year. It's up 25% from 2023. This is if I duplicate them all, it's actually over 1,700 interactions with me at the Council on Aging,
In 2024,
2024.
okay.
We had 2,470 phone calls, or I had 2,470 phone calls. That's up 31%. Clients that I'm working with that are under 65, that's 32% of that number, but that includes a lot of people who are turning 65. And under 55, it's only about 10%. Longest client we had last year was 21, the oldest 101. Clients identifying as homeless that meet the definition of homeless were about 16, but those identifying as homeless was about 90. Of those, all those people, 38 individuals self-ID'd as having a substance abuse issue. And out of the homeless, 88% identified with having current or past substance abuse issue. Yeah, I'll print you a nice one.
Busy, 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 Matt.
Yeah, that's
Thank
why-
you.
That's why I book people 3 weeks away.
Yeah, yeah. Also, Matt, would you tell folks about the point in time happening tomorrow?
So tomorrow is the point in time count, which is the pit count, which is the count for individuals who are homeless in town. We have a group going out tomorrow. There are, the known unhoused in town is about 19. Those that are living in tents are about 12. So I know where a lot of those are, so they're gonna be counted. And then we're gonna use some of our time to really get deep into some areas. We don't get into that deep that often. So if anybody wants to come to the pit count tomorrow, we're starting about 8:30 at the Council on Aging. I'll
And
separate
we have
people in
3
groups.
different times going out tomorrow?
Yeah, we're gonna do we do an 8:30 to get out for 9, and we do like a 2 o'clock to get out for 3, because a lot of times if we go out for 3, if somebody's not at their site, they're there at 3 o'clock. And then Chris was talking about doing a late night parking lot roundup,
Well, that was
6, 7 o'clock.
Officer Baptiste.
Yeah,
Yeah, because we
So-
know that there's a lot
Yeah,
of people
so
that live in
We're gonna
cars that
try
ride
to
on.
get that 7, 8 o'clock around Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, check the cars.
And I signed on for that one, so where should we meet?
That's
So that was
good.
Officer
That
Baptiste
evening.
that
Yeah,
was doing that
I'll,
one.
I'll email you.
You'll let me know?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
And Matt, were we able to get any drones? I know we had talked about that.
Yes, the police were talking about doing crossroads and a couple other areas, St. John's Cemetery. They have to fly at a certain time.
Yeah.
And then I'm still gonna go in there anyway.
Yeah, their flight plan, they have to be done by 11:30
In the morning?
in the morning.
I didn't see you. Hi there, Amy.
Yep, they'll be
And I'm
done
sure it's
by
weather-
11:30.
Weather permitting, yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's supposed to snow tomorrow, but it's gonna be
Right.
40 degrees. and It's gonna be
Always.
nice and muddy, so.
I feel like that every year we go out, it's either raining or snowing.
Yeah, well,
Every year.
And Matt, would you just let everyone know, this is not the date we Dartmouth selected.
No, this
This
is
is
a
the
national
national
day
day.
that everybody counts. All of Massachusetts is doing it. New Bedford's doing it.
This is the
All
day.
of Bristol County is doing it, yes. This is the day that the feds choose because they probably get the least amount of people that they could count.
Of course. That's the way
Because
we
in the
do it.
summer, you could probably
Possibly,
count more,
yeah.
but.
Thank you for all of that. Nurse Reimer?
My PSA is there's a lot of influenza out there, so please wash your hands and do social distancing. It's really, we're peaking, so be aware of that. A couple things. I attended a Zoom call, and it was from Pensacola, Florida, and I don't know how I got on their list, but their topic was what should we expect with opioids in 2025? And they basically had the same statistics, I think that we've all seen where, use is down, overdoses are down. But what they brought up was that they've seen that the potency of fentanyl has gone down on the street level. I think it's been stepped on so many times or cut so many times that the drug dealers aren't getting the bang for their buck. And so they are now looking at other drugs that they're mixing with, like ADHD drugs and other stimulants, that they can boost the fentanyl to boost the opioids. So they see that. And the other thing they think they'll see a lot of is class action lawsuits against insurance companies. Because they're saying that a lot of people who suffer from substance abuse disorder are getting turned down from their benefits to go to rehab, because there might not be one, in our town, so then I apply to go to one in Providence, and I'm getting rejected. So they said, look for that. The other piece that I heard on NPR, they reported that in Mexico, where most of the drugs are coming through, that the drug cartels are getting savvy to the drugs getting less potent, and so they are going into homeless camps in northern Mexico, and they are offering $30 an injection for these folks to kind of test drive these new recipes. And so they're seeing a lot of deaths that way. The other thing, when someone was actually into one of these processing plants, that they are testing them on animals. And the rule is that if an animal lives for 90 seconds after the drug is injected, then they think that's okay to then to
Give to
deliver to the
humans.
US.
Excellent.
Right, so that doesn't look good that way.
Interesting. No, that doesn't.
That's pretty sad.
Yes, it's very sad.
More, on the influenza, RSV, I'm noticing at elementary school up. And we're being told that hand sanitizer
Doesn't cut it.
does not cut it.
Right.
And we've become so used to using hand sanitizer for everything.
It's a second choice. It always has been a second choice
Always go
for
back
everything.
to hand wash
Hand
soap
wash.
and warm water.
Right, friction.
Friction,
Yes.
okay.
And unfortunately, RSV isn't reportable, which is really interesting to me, because so many things are reportable through the state, but RSV is not one of them. So I don't have an idea, statistics-wise, what's happening in the schools. I just know anecdotally, but I know it's there.
That's interesting, because that's the one that I'm hearing most of, but thank you very much. All right, we're gonna move into old business. Thank you, Mr. Tebow from the school department has joined us to tell us where the school department is in all of the work that they proposed, which, just to recount, we were supporting vape detectors, the Wayfinder SEL curriculum, safety resources, and then what it'll be actually taking place next year. They're in the planning stages for an extended after-school program.
Thanks, Heidi. So, my understanding is that Mr. Kiley's been working with Mr. Carrero to kind of identify what that process will look like to purchase things. Some things like the vape detectors are actually more expensive than we anticipated. However, our SEL curriculum, at the point we are in the school year, it probably makes more sense to hold off on that until the fall with the start of the new school year. So that's something we could defer until after June, after another town meeting, and that might make up the difference there in cost. But everything else, we're ready to move forward with. It's just a matter of, getting the purchasing done.
And so just so that everybody knows, the vape detectors, we had an estimate of $20,000, and they actually have come in for $35,066.82. So is that, we have to buy that number, did they give us a quote?
Yeah, they would have, Mr. Galashaw
Yeah.
got a quote from the company to outfit all of the restrooms. Currently, we have vape detectors in just the 2 main restrooms in the main foyer. But this would allow us to outfit all of the restrooms in use at the building.
So that Ross, the school department, everybody's aware. For town meeting in June, we're going to be asking for a substantial increase to our funding that we have available. So how it works is we get the funding from the state, it goes into a stabilization account, and then from that, we have to go to town meeting to ask to take money out. 2 years ago at this point, we asked for $88,000 to get ourselves started, but now that we're starting, we know that we're going to be asking for hundreds of thousands of dollars this next round. We're just going to start formulating what we need. And we know that once we purchase the vape detectors, that's a sort of a one-time purchase. The SEL curriculum will be something that would be an annual safety resources expanded. So there's going to be some things that are going to be annual purchases. So we'll be crafting that as we get closer to preparing our June town meeting.
And the expanded after-school program, that would be for next school year as well. So again, that's
I
something
know you're
that we're planning now.
it.
Right, but
Yeah.
it would start.
And the biggest chunk, for anyone new to us, is transportation. We strongly feel that to make things equitable, right now, there is an after-school program at the middle school, but your parent or guardian, someone, needs to be able to pick you up. So we're missing a big group of kids who don't have that ability to be transported, but could use being involved in an after-school program. And that's where we said to the school department, let's try to capture that, as well as capturing an experience at the elementary level. Busing is expensive, but it's the only way that we can say that we're making a difference for involving kids, keeping kids engaged in good activities, instead of them finding with their hands available and a lot of time on their hands where they can do other things. Let's get them invested. If anyone was able to catch the most recent DCTV collaboration with the school department, it's about 8 minutes, but it takes you to all the schools and shows you what they're doing. And the middle school gave a rapid fire of all the different clubs that they have, from anime to chess to garden to drama. I mean, lots of different things that would be great for kids. And it seems like if the kids are interested in the club, they're willing to support that club. So I think this is going to be a great use of our funding. Thank you, Ross.
Thank you.
I had Christina already speak on the fact that the post-overdose prevention is happening. Gary, just so that you know, I told them when they're doing their timesheets to just put DAART on it, so that we know that it's coming here to be
So they're gonna charge a portion of the,
post-overdose.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
We'll put it at the bottom of the time slip in the notes.
Yeah, we just need, Donna would have the account number, so we have to get that on an account number to charge.
Okay.
So, just to go back a little bit on what,
Yep.
I did speak to Jim about the funding on this. Obviously, we have about $80,000 in the account. We only spent a little bit of that. So some of the priorities I think that we spoke with were the vape detectors. And as we start to go to a town meeting, I think what we also talked about was having a plan in place to ask town meeting for additional funds, maybe not only for fiscal '26, but
Going forth.
yeah, so that we don't have to keep coming back to whether we have money available or not. But I think that, that maybe should be part of some of the next meetings that we talk about, is
The
future
amount.
funding, future funding for additional projects that we wanna, put in place. Also, when we look at, the salary, cause the coordinator position that we, I don't know if we've posted that yet.
No,
We have
because
a
the
fi-
HR director,
Right, we have a final, I think we have a final, draft of that.
yes, we do.
So we could have, I just spoke to Melissa
That
this
was supposed to
morning.
happen in January, but then the HR director
Yeah,
left.
we could still post that without a problem. I just talked to Melissa, she said all she needs to do is get the final version of that. I think Melanie has that. So, I think the board has already approved it.
Yes,
And.
the select board did.
And that was back in like October, November timeframe.
Yeah.
So I think we should probably, my only opinion, we should probably get that posted.
Okay.
Because we're getting closer to the end of the fiscal year.
Yep.
So when we look at, funding some of that, we talked about like a hybrid, some of it from the budget, some of it
Right.
from the OP. So we'll have to also include that salary as part of the ask for '26. We go into the,
Right.
put that
This-
article
this-
together.
Yeah, I think at this point, the first year was supposed to be 10%,
Yeah.
next year maybe just 10% as well, because we're
the
so
first-
late.
It's the first
Full
full
year,
fiscal year, yeah.
yeah.
So if it's okay with the board, the committee,
Absolutely.
I'll have Melissa post it. so that we can at
Absolutely,
least
because
see
I
what
thought we
else out
had to
there.
wait till we got an HR, so that's
I would say
great.
that, you know, we're just
You guys
posting it,
are-
we're not.
Yeah.
Once we get the applicants in, I think maybe.
We can figure out the next step to do.
Yeah, it could be, members of this committee that
Mm-hmm.
looks at that, and then,
Okay.
I think at least getting it posted should be
Okay,
the next thing. So
Excellent.
I
that's it.
agree.
All right. We do have a request for payment for supplies for the encampment, which at the time was $256.88. And I think that falls right into our DART community events, which we were putting aside $5,000. So I think that would fall right into that category. So I think that certainly can be something that Gary can process.
Okay.
And we can target right out of,
You have all you have the receipts, right?
I do,
Chris?
yes.
You
I
just
do.
put a voucher together
Yes.
and hit the proper account, and then we'll
Yep,
put it through.
yes.
I think that makes total sense. And then we just talked about the town warrant.
Yep.
I had Dolores paste below, sort of the accounting sheet, just so that everybody would keep track of what we've already, allocated in our brains. We don't have this money here yet, but we should be hearing about the RISE grant in, March.
Is it February or March? I couldn't remember what, I need to look it up again. Let me look it up while
Okay.
you're doing that. Let me look it up.
And they were going to match us, so everything you see above the line that says $99,850, if we are successful getting that RISE grant, it will cover half of those amounts, which is great, and we're gonna keep looking for that funding. And then down the very bottom, I have all the future dates of future meetings, and our International Overdose Awareness Night, which is Thursday, August 28th. So I'll just go right back up. Gary, anything more on the opioid settlement funds?
Nothing new to report. I don't know if anyone has heard of this, but there's additional, now there'll be additional funding on top of the initial amount that we had received. I think there's been an additional settlement of like
Or
$9.5 billion.
another settlement.
Yeah, and so who knows when that's gonna come down? That might be after this bulk of money gets expended. I'm not sure how, if it's gonna be two deposits or how that will work, going forward, but we'll keep track of that. Other than that, there's really nothing new to.
Thank you. Though always nice to hear about new money coming in.
Yeah.
Thank you. Magnolia, do you have anything on the DART website?
There's been nothing new since last time, but as always, if anyone has anything they think should be on there, send it over to me and I'll get it up there. And if there's any
No,
edits.
just to be clear, the way to access that website is gonna be through our committee and then also through the youth advocate.
Yeah, I remember. I had made that update for the last meeting, but then we went on for a
Okay.
while, and by
Yeah,
the
I
end,
just
everyone
wondered.
had other meetings. But yeah, that is what I had to update for last time, is that I had linked the two, so the Youth Advocate page and the DART page are now, you can get to each from each, more or less.
Could we advertise that on our digital board at, at some point, just to steer our residents to those pages if they should need it? I mean, it doesn't have to be all the time, but just if we're looking for something to put up there, because I'm not sure our residents know about that.
I'm also wondering, Magnolia, could you make up, like, even if it's business cards or postcard size, with that information to give to the post overdose committee, so they can
Yes.
give it
I would like
to,
a-
that would be great,
The
to
link
check
or
out this
something.
website for resources, and they
Yeah,
have
as-
it right in hand.
As long as the individuals receiving those cards will have access to the website, then yeah, absolutely.
Could we do it
Do
through
a QR code.
I was, yeah.
That's what everyone
It'll
goes to
definitely
now.
have a QR code.
Like,
Because I think
we
that'd
have
be easier.
this little QR code on the back of my work phone.
Yeah.
If you scan this actually takes you to the Bristol County District Attorney's Office for victims from 209As. So
Yeah.
this gives them packets and all
Oh,
different
that's
languages
awesome.
and all kinds of stuff. So we found that the little QR code thing can be actually quite useful.
Faster.
Yep. So
Yeah,
they've
so-
created like a little sticker, and it's been pretty helpful for that other.
So yeah, if you guys want me to design business cards that have the QR code to the DART website, do you want the resource page specifically, or the DART page as a whole?
I think the DART page, because they can
Okay.
get to the resources, but I like the idea, and even if you can get the QR code on there,
Yeah, definitely,
That's-
QR code
that's perfect.
is no
We
problem.
could even put
I'm
those
just thinking
kind
the
of,
family might want to access, and the individual might want to access.
but we also
different
could
things.
leave these cards in discreet places like the Walmart bathrooms
Yep.
or
Yep.
Humvees.
I took a ride and we distributed these to stores throughout the town.
Oh, great.
We did it like a year and a half ago for Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and
Excellent.
we had decent
In
response.
changing rooms
Yeah,
and
we had,
stuff,
we
dressing
had,
rooms?
and that was our big thing, like, we hit up all the gyms, like, hey, can you throw this on a mirror? It's just a sticker.
Right.
In a discreet location.
Yeah.
We had decent response from a lot of like the smaller businesses, but some of the
Yeah.
retail chains were like, oh, I need to see if I can run this
Fly it
past
up
upper. We can't really post any outside stuff, and I was
Yeah.
like, listen, if you have a community board where you can post it, like, even if
Even
it
for
hits.
workers.
Yeah, even if it hits like a worker and like a board, like, and it helps.
So with all that in mind, I'll design business cards for the group, and then I'll also make a corresponding flyer, so that way, when you're distributing, you all can decide how you'd like that.
You could put the QR code on the back of the business card? I mean, could you do that?
There will absolutely be
Yeah,
QR codes
okay,
in
great.
everything I create.
And when you do that too, I can get a copy of the flyer too, and I can also post it on the youth commission page too, to try to post it out as many places as possible. And, I can shoot it out in the electronic backpacks too.
All right.
Heidi, you giving me a look? Are you thinking?
No, I'm just watching you talk, that's all.
Oh, no.
With my glasses on, I'm sorry, it might look more.
Yeah, so to get, to try to get almost bang for our buck to do that, to get it out as many people as we can. I couldn't find the date, for the RISE grant. It's either like March or February, March, I can't remember, but it's coming up soon. We should know something.
It's exciting.
It is exciting. Are we at other items?
Yep,
Okay.
other items.
I have an item really quick, so, we're doing good with time, I'm so excited. I went to Fall River Prevention Meeting, I think last month, and it was held at the new STAR facility in Fall River, which, I was very surprised to see that it was across the street from the cannabis place, so I was like, wow, that's,
Oh.
great location. I got out of the car and I was like, I smell cannabis. I'm like, oh, it's like right there, but okay. Anyway, but, the reason why I'm bringing it up is because, the person, someone from Star spoke, and they talked about the different things they're doing in the community, and they talked about the mobile health van that they have that goes out to encampments in Fall River, but they also said they go to the shelters in New Bedford. And I was like, well, can they come here to Dartmouth? Asking the question, because if you're going to New Bedford, you're doing the encampments in Fall River, why can't you come here? So I was put in contact with someone, Nicole Gibney, I think that's her name. You know her?
I do know.
You know her. So I'm just waiting I'm waiting on a response back. to find out if there's a possibility, if they're already going out, and like, what does that look like? Could they service Dartmouth, that they're doing preventative work, like medical, giving out some type of medical care to individuals? Because I was thinking about the one particular couple that's in the encampment right now, if that's a possibility, and how do we get on board with that? So I'm just waiting on a response back from her, but
It'd be good to send to the hotels.
I know she said they go to the shelters in New Bedford, and I was like, well, can you come here? So, we'll see, I'm waiting to hear back.
Excellent.
From that, but wanted to share that. Very excited,
Great.
that's all I have.
I've got one item.
Sure thing.
So I know that the libraries would like to put in an AED.
Oh,
They do not have one at this time. So it might be a good opportunity to kind of do like a soft rollout on the Nalox boxes with the AED.
Yeah.
And, I could talk to Dina as well about the other branch as well. I believe they have an AED there.
South does.
But we could kind of do the retrofit to have the Nalox box, the complete
Yep.
kit there.
Okay.
So North Branch doesn't have an AED?
No,
Really?
The north one?
no.
Oh, that's silly.
It should be kept like in the public part, where they use
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
office room at
yeah,
night, give you
yeah.
access to that.
Yeah.
Southworth Library did have Narcan at one point, but it was more whoever the librarian was there at the time carried it personally, so they had it, so they're familiar with it.
Okay. The library and I have not communicated on where they are with buying the books. And I do know that one of the things we talked about way back when was training department heads and training departments. And we've been waiting for this new TA to arrive to do that. So I'm hoping within the next month, all of that will be taken care of, and we can move in that direction.
We could, if we were able to get the AED sooner, we could probably work between, existing resources of STAT and maybe more on the Naloxone.
Do we have prices on them, or?
Well, I think we could get it through.
free.
For free, through New Bedford.
Yeah, because they're
AED?
still doing them for free. I just spoke to Luz Ortega when I did my training a few months ago, and she said if we could do a training, she said we can give the free AEDs if we could do the training. And I was like, let me bring it back to the committee, but they will give out the AEDs for free if they can do the training.
Yeah. So if that's the case, let's
I'll
start
circle
in.
back with you on this, so we can get that going.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's start at the library. I know that she was organizing, having full staff meetings. I don't know if it was once a month or
Gotta
once
be at the
every
time
other
to do the
month, but it would be a
training.
perfect time to do it so that everybody can be trained at the same time.
Get the free
And we can do
AED.
both, the naloxone and Luz will assist with the training and
Yes.
access of the equipment.
Okay. So, yeah. we'll-
Yeah. Amy
Before
DePietro.
reaching out to New Bedford, double check with STAT, because I know that STAT had talked to us about doing trainings and the AED boxes. We have ours, we purchased ours, but I think they may have a grant that purchases them as well. So STAT may be able to do it right in the community.
Yeah, I think Town Hall was purchased.
Yeah, because, the one thing about, like STAT, like when we need servicing, like batteries, new pads, because they all expire. Anytime I call, one of the Ryans, they never give me a bill for the batteries or the pads. I'm not saying that's binding on them, but they've been a tremendous community resource. Because, getting them is one thing, but eventually, a year or two later, you got to do some maintenance
I
to
know the
them.
ones we got through the school department, which were through Zoll, they always came and serviced them,
Service them.
once we had them.
They provided us the treatment, the training too for naloxone.
Zoll did,
Stat did,
Stat did.
yeah.
That's a great local resource, so let's,
Those guys are all great.
Those
Guys are
pros
great.
over there
Them up.
trying to get some stuff for free.
yes. So we're back, it's January, almost February, and
Yep.
we're gonna get back in.
Yeah, and I think Victoria may still be on, I'm not sure, I didn't know if she had any updates from UMass. Victoria, are you still on?
I don't see her on the participant.
Yeah, I think we're
Oh,
having,
yeah,
I
so,
think we're having
yeah, she went
Wi-Fi
off,
issues.
Yeah, she went
Got
out, yeah.
kicked out of the meeting.
We're having
so-
Wi-Fi issues upstairs, I believe.
Oh,
We
okay,
had some
'cause I
last
know-
night.
oh,
And
sorry,
I just
okay.
emailed Mike,
Yeah, because I'm like, oh, she's on, maybe she can tell us something.
Yeah, I think the whole meeting.
because I just got kicked off,
Oh,
Yeah.
and I had to go back on.
Who was on again? They got kicked off, Gary?
well, this
I
is
was
what
on,
was
they-
happening
UMass
last
was on,
night
I think they
too.
got kicked, but you can see, look, everything's frozen.
Every so often.
Oh, yeah.
it's the
Yeah,
internet
There's a-
comes
we have,
Oh,
we're having a
froze?
connection
Oh,
problem.
everybody's frozen, okay, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have. I don't
that
have
or
my
standing real
I'm
still.
like, wait a minute, where are we?
All right, so, looking ahead, those meetings, please make sure you put them down into your calendar, 1 o'clock in one of the rooms here. The April 22nd, 29th is there because 22nd is during April school vacation week, so I wasn't sure if people, I know for people involved in the schools, that means something, but for everybody else that works regular.
I vote to
jobs.
move it to the 29th,
Okay.
because I might be going on vacation too.
Oh, all right. All right, so let's just move it to the 29th. I like to have a set day.
Okay. So
And
all right.
I think that's good, and we talked really, really fast
We
today, because I was so
did.
concerned that we were gonna bump up against the 2 o'clock meeting. So next month, we will have, I will come with a proposal, write down what my job is.
For town meeting, when do we have to submit that?
Proposed.
Yeah,
Town meeting,
yeah, because I don't know when the date to submit that.
warrant item.
article.
Yeah,
Warrant
for
article,
warrants.
yeah.
Okay.
And Dolores and I, let's work on the AED and Narcan.
And you said stat too, right? Okay,
It's stat.
all right, I will.
Yeah.
And
Training, and we'll come and let you know about that.
And I'll have that business card and flyer with the QR code ready to get approval on at that meeting also.
okay.
Perfect.
I know people love getting stuff, like when we could do the outreach visits.
Yeah.
Even just us like leaving behind, we used to leave behind a brochure back in the day, but they stopped making them. And it just had like a list of resources, people like,
Yeah, I'll
like
absolutely-
receiving something.
Well, I know you have the street sheet.
Yeah,
Dan
we have
Fidel.
that through, community service outreach, yes.
It's on the back of that, but we can pull everything out.
Yeah,
if you
we
want.
had something similar to this with like lists of stuff, but it never got updated, so like there was programs that kind of like fell off the map,
Yeah, I keep
didn't
that
really
one-
exist anymore, and then
I
new
keep that
stuff.
one updated, I can email it to you.
Yeah, if you don't mind, it'd be great. Thank you.
These meetings will all be at 1, right?
Yes.
QR code,
Programs are constantly changing.
okay. I think that's,
It was like a list of shelters that we
I
had.
don't know if they didn't pay
Shelters,
like
showers, food, all that stuff.
that stuff
Emergency.
changes a lot too, yeah.
Correct.
It's just,
That's what we had, like, there was one day where I called like 4 different places, and I'm like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
had
know. Matt
posted
does
the
keep
street
his.
sheet,
yeah.
and then some people had commented and
This
been like, I
is-
haven't, like,
that's
there's places that I've reached
Someone
out
who's
to that aren't
homeless,
open.
now there's a
Yeah, and I
one-stop
mean, it's so
place they need
fluid.
to call in
So
Worcester County,
so
that's
my
it right
intern
there.
Savannah, that's one of the things she's gonna be working on
So when
for
they
my
call me, I
department.
basically just do an intake for that and send it out.
Places that do like mental health treatment or substance use treatment, calling places to see if, one, if they're still open, two, what do they offer, making sure that information is still correct. So she'll be working on that, and I can share that with everybody too.
So why don't you tell us about your intern?
So this is from, I was gonna say Statesboro High School, I'm thinking about my hometown, I apologize. Dartmouth High School, Savannah Riley, she is a senior this year, so she's gonna be, I think this may be her third day in my office, working in my office, to be helping me do some things. One of the big projects that I wanted her to work on, because I don't have a lot of time to do it, is about the resources, making sure the resources are updated or they still are in existence. There could be new places, old places, whatnot. So I have a list of places that she's going to be reaching out to, and also mental health providers too, because we get a lot of calls for mental health providers to see who has openings. I don't have the capacity to call every month to see who has openings. But once it's updated, that may be something I can do maybe on a quarterly basis. So yeah, Savannah, and just wanted to say too, she got accepted into Howard University and HBCU, so I'm extremely excited and proud of her.
Yay, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yep.
Many moons ago, we had another Dartmouth High School student that went down there, a former student of mine.
Yeah, and one that last year went, that graduated.
Nice.
Yep, that went, okay.
Nice.
There's just, I got a call the other day from someone from Children's Hospital, and they have a satellite, I think they work up at Hawthorne.
Yep,
or
they
South
do,
Coast,
yep.
And they were doing a community needs assessment in Dartmouth, and so they kind of interviewed me and asked me what I thought that the town may need, and so we talked about the paucity of mental health support here, so
Big
if they could do
time.
anything about that,
Oh, that'll be
I put that
great.
on their radar.
Oh, great, too.
So are they at South Coast or somewhere else?
They're on Font's Corner.
Font's
I've-
Corner.
They're just on Font's Corner.
Yeah, because I remember seeing, I'm like, ooh, Boston's children, wow.
Yeah.
Yep, so they have an investment in our community.
Oh, great.
Has to be
Excellent.
advanced eye care building.
And then I'm hoping too, now that
Okay.
Brown is taking over, was it Stewart, that maybe there could be some, like, well, I'm hoping because, you know, of the reach of Brown, maybe that could be another resource for us too. Okay.
And Magnolia, your intern?
This is Ella, and she's going to be helping me with communicating more so on behalf of the schools, because I do a lot of the town stuff. And so her focus is really gonna be getting the schools' social medias, everything up and running, getting some goodwill with the community, information out, and a greater following and knowledge of what's going on over at the schools.
I love it.
So this is her second day with me.
No pressure. Excellent. Oh, thank you both for coming. And Ella, are you a senior as well?
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
Counting
Neither of you
down,
have-
I know,
must-
counting down the months, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, be careful. Adulting's hard and long.
It's a lifetime
All right.
commitment. You like that, you?
So next month, we will also have the pit count to see what that looks like, and we'll have an update on all the work that we're starting and moving in that direction. And Gary will help those of us that are going to start spending some money, making sure it's charged to the right accounts.
So, really quick, one more other thing too. So, I got a call from Bishop Stang about, a student, approaching one of the counselors wanting some help, with vaping, to stop vaping. So I reached out to some of the different community partners to try to find like some additional resources. Unfortunately, it's like in-person type of thing, there's really nothing for youth. But they did provide me with additional resources, and I also have a contact that I'm waiting to hear back from that would be willing to come out in the community to schools or whatnot to do like some trainings or presentations about vaping and vaping resources. And I got that through when I went to the Fall River Prevention meeting. It was someone that was at STAR. So I'm waiting to hear back to see like what they can offer and then to kind of share it with the community. I probably would try to do something myself through the Youth Advocates Office, but to give it to the schools.
Yeah, but definitely, because that could be something perhaps during the PACE period.
Yeah.
That would be great, because we're putting all these vapes in the bathrooms because we
Right.
have a problem,
Right,
Yes.
correct.
not because,
And unfortunately, there's not a lot of resources.
There's not a lot of like in-person research.
Right.
There's things online, or they can do like download things on their phone, you know, things
Mm-hmm.
like that young people do, but nothing like face-to-face to kind of talk to someone, you're right.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Dolores, because, you know, we approached that topic, I don't know, a year or two ago. And, you know, it was a little bit disappointing, to say the least, that all the cessation that we offer as a Commonwealth is virtual.
Yeah,
And the
That's
reason
true.
why I say that is because I've been around long enough to remember selling cigarettes at my first job for $1.46, including tax. And I just got a,
you did personally sold
I
cigarettes?
was working at CVS.
Oh,
That's when you
okay.
can sell them at
I was like,
CVS.
how you sold Lucy's?
I know, I thought you just were
I thought you
walking
selling
around.
Lucy's. I'm like, what?
I just got a text from a staff member with the required FDA signage now at Dollar General, and I saw the price of a pack of Marlboros,
like $25.
$14.74.
I was like $20.
And a lot
That's not a
of,
poor man's hobby,
and a-
which is shocking.
and we got to that point by excessive, and I'm excessive, I'm meaning good. We excessively tax cigarettes as a mode of trying to prevent people from smoking.
Yes.
And initially, all of that money came back to the communities for prevention, for enforcement, to prevent youth access. And, you know, lo and behold, the Commonwealth, you know, I say they reneged on that. They took it back. They're offering us nothing more than a box check of online cessation. We're at the start of the budget year, the budget planning year for Beacon Hill. So now's the time to lobby legislators if we'd like to see something. So I just kind of offer that to the committee, because I personally think we should offer more as a Commonwealth to our
I do too, I
citizens.
agree with you.
Than just, you know, a check the box, you know, go on, watch this online and get distracted 2
Yeah,
minutes later.
exactly. I just feel like, you know, especially if a young person is coming forward saying, I want help, and it's like, oh, sorry, go to this website.
You know, and I understand that in an article I read that I think the governor's actually considering some additional taxes on synthetic nicotine, which would be great, because, you know, we know that the tobacco market has changed so much over the last three decades away from conventional leaf tobacco to vaping, and, you know, that would be great. So I think that's, you know, something else that maybe we could talk about in a future agenda. If that does make it, we could
Yeah.
express our interest to our delegation.
Yeah, and how we can help lobby and like advocate for things like that too.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you very much. All right, folks, we did it in 50 minutes, so we can be done. All right, so thank you all for coming. We'll see you next month, and we have, some of us have work to do in between now and then.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome, thanks for
All right,
coming.
all right.